My birthdays were awesome. I had great childhood memories. My mom, she was a professional cook, and she would take sheet cakes, and she would cut round cakes, and she would make noses and ears with with marshmallows and frosting, and she'd make totem pole cakes. Everybody loved them. All my friends came to see the totem pole cakes. And when we went camping, we'd have friends go with us, and Mom would teach us how to cook out in a campfire, and we'd sing songs around the campfire. And she did so many awesome things. I had great childhood memories. When I was 38, 1994 Christmas, my mom and dad were in an argument. I mean, it was a verbal argument, but it was a real harsh one. And I wanted to calm them down because it was the holidays, you know? I said, hey, come on, can we talk about this? And my mom looked around, and she looked at me with daggers in her eyes, and she said, I don't want to talk to you. I can take care of you. And all of a sudden, at 198 pounds, 6'2", I felt like a 5-year-old, all jelly. And I was scared to death that my life was in peril from this woman who was 5'1", about 120 pounds, soaking wet. I wanted to go immediately. I just couldn't stay there, and I didn't know why. They calmed me down, and I did stay the night and celebrate Christmas. And the following week, a friend gave me a name of a good counselor. And I went. You do what you got to do, and I went. And she said, something triggered this. Has anything been happening in your life or in your mother's life? I said, well, last summer we found out that she had 2 years to live from renal disease. And she said, oh, well, that could be it. We're going to talk about stuff. I want you just to share with me what you see, hear, or feel. And we'll take it out. We'll take a look at it. We'll put it up on a shelf. And if you want to visit again, you can. It's up to you. You are in control. And I said, oh, okay. She said, well, when did these things happen? I said, I don't know whatever happened. Did anything ever happen in the kitchen before? You know? Well, Mom used to cook in the kitchen. She taught us to cook when we were young. And I remember what's the matter, Vernon? I feel like someone just hit me on the head. What did they hit you with? I don't know, but I smell spaghetti. It's burnt spaghetti. It's a wooden spoon. My mom hit me. Wow, my mom hit me a lot. In treatment, I found out that some days were so bad, I would go to bed as a 5 and 8-year-old, and in those years, I would imagine my day being camping or fun at birthdays, and I would rewrite that day, and that's the day I remembered. I didn't remember the pain until I was 38. And Susan looked at me and she said, you know, in a roundabout way, your mother gave you a gift. You're a storyteller, right? You do storytelling for Girl Scouts? I said, yeah. She says, it takes a fantastic storyteller to believe in his own reality and to protect yourself for over 30 years. Well, 2 years later, my mother did get close to passing away, and I thought about it. You know, I thought from that moment on, my childhood memories weren't going to be the same. I get to choose which ones I remember. You know, I mean, obviously, nostalgia isn't what it used to be. So the one thing that I could do is visit her and let her know that I'm okay. I'm okay with it. She was a paranoid schizophrenic, and she was treated with medication. But when I was younger, she wasn't. So when she was good, she was good. When she was bad, she was a bitch. So when she was getting close to her time, I'd visit her every week because I was doing camp shows in Bar Harbor. And every week I would tell her goodbye. And my brother came out one day all crying, and he said, Mom's going to die. She told me she's going to die. I said, yeah, they told us about 2 years ago. Right. Yeah, she is. So I went in, and when it was my turn, she pulled the same thing on me. You know, I may not be here next week, Vernon. I said, well, Mom, are you still going to get buried over in Winter Harbor where you grew up? She said, yeah. I said, well, if not here, over there. And that, for the next 3 weeks, while she was alive, every week, at the end, we would go, hey, I'll see you next week. Over here or over there. I had childhood memories.